Brews and Views, a podcast where we review movies, give our opinion on what's going on in the world, all while drinking good beer. Crack open a good brew and open your minds for Brews and Views.
Say hey, everybody out there in the internet land. This is Juan Cordero, the one and only, coming at you with another podcast for January 1st, 2021. How is everybody out there in the intranet land loving 2021? We are officially away from 2020. Are we officially away from 2020 shit? Not necessarily. We're still not in full capacity, and we are still living in this shit. Hopefully 2021 comes out to be a better year, that we can go to concerts, that we can, do everything that we've done in the past and get away from this new norm. But anyway, Happy New Year to everyone out there. This year has been a doozy. 2020 we're talking about, but 2020 is in the past now, and we're not going to talk about 2020 no more. Or are we? What I'm going to do today is, on this podcast today, I'm basically going to break down 2020 and how it unfolded from January 1st, 2020 all the way until December 31st, 2020. So we're going to take a little bit and go through these things and what happened and my reactions to them and what happened, where was I, how things go, blah, 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 whatever. So without further ado, before we do that, you know what we have to do. It's about this time. Oh, shit. Yeah, you heard it. Shit, I got beer all over my damn iPad. Oh, it's a little foamy one, too. Hold on a second, guys. I am drinking an India Pale Ale, an IPA. I can't even fucking talk. From Cigar City Brewing in Tampa, Florida. People down in Florida, they don't give a shit. So this beer is good. It's the Jaialai. Jaialai. That's what I'm drinking. It's an IPA, and it's fucking pretty good. I had a few of these bad boys last night. But anyway, we're going to get right into everything that happened in 2020. We're going to break down 2020 from January 1st to yesterday. Anyway, here we go. January 1st, 2020, everything was good and everything felt great. I was working at a place called CRDN that's also connected to Peerless Cleaners here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And for anyone that's listening in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and goes to Peerless, don't take your dry cleaning to Peerless, man, because those people are a bunch of fucking assholes. And Juan, yes, you're an asshole too, so I guess I fit in just fucking perfectly back then. But shit was just, it was going. It was going. I had a job. Everything was normal, right? But wait. From late December through January, Australia is on fire, and some hot ass girl sold a bunch of pictures online, like naked pictures to people online to try to help families that were impacted by the fires, and she got a bunch of shit for it. Okay, whatever. We already fucking got the Karens out there. We haven't got there yet. All these people going crazy for no fucking reason. I'm clipping way too much. Or am I yelling? I'm yelling. Juan, don't yell. It's 2020. We need to yell. We need to yell to get this shit over with. But yeah, Australia was on fire, and everyone was just like, that shit just started. It just started, and it fucking just took over all of Australia, and the fucking fires just kept fucking going. And what the fuck was happening anyway? Then the Davos summit in Davos, Switzerland, got everyone's attention when a 16-year-old Greta Thunberg called for urgent action, stressing the need for real zero emissions. And people went nuts. They were like, who is this 16-year-old girl? She needs to get up off her fucking high horse, and how's she telling me to do this and doing that? Oh my God. Why do we have to be so fucking judgmental? And, and again, fuck, I'm a judgmental asshole too, and it's apparent. We're going to get to that point here very soon. But why do we have to give this girl such a fucking hard fucking time? over things, man. I wish I was that fucking, like, passionate about something when I was 16 years old. I was just fucking living life like being 16 and fucking fuckery, man. I was just doing stupid shit in life. And then Trump undergoes investigation to be impeached. And we're watching this shit on TV like it's the fucking shit. Like every day we're like, oh, did they do it? What happened next? And what happened there? And what happened there? And then while all this shit was going down, Trump almost started World War III. And it's only fucking January. It's only fucking January. And this motherfucker tried to start a fucking... And everyone was like, oh shit, the missiles are about to come. I don't know what's about to fucking happen, but it's not going to be fucking pretty. Then, I'm not even going to talk too much about this because I really don't understand it. Brexit over in fucking, Europe. They decided that they were not part of Europe, or they are part of Europe, or they don't have to, what? They become a sovereign country, or I don't fucking understand it. Anyway, January 8th, Harry and Meg step down as members of the royal family. Really? Why are we so fucking, like, why are we all interested in this? Because it's the royal family and, like, Harry, we all knew Harry when he was a kid. We grew up with his punk ass on fucking TV. And then now, he decides to marry this, like, if you guys don't know, Harry is the child of Diana, which was the Princess Diana, who died in the late 80s, I believe, in a car wreck, and that is the child of Princess Diana, Harry. And he married an American woman, which I believe is Hispano, named Meg. And I guess the royal family really didn't like that he married and like an actress and shit like that, or he didn't go like the fucking traditions or whatever. But to me, what I say to that in the royal family is like, shit changes. We don't necessarily always have to fucking be a part. What the fuck was that? We don't necessarily have to always be. Something happened. I heard something. I don't know what it was. Maybe someone came home. Anyway, shit changes. Traditions change. You don't necessarily have to follow fucking traditions, but there's certain things that I wish would stay traditional. Like my baseball. Fucking, like, if I go back to church, it would be fucking the Catholic Church. But everything is always up subject to fucking change. So royal family, fucking deal with it, and who gives a shit about, like, whether or not they're a part of the royal family or not? Who's making a fucking big deal? Is it because it's the first time this happened or whatever? To me, I fucking don't understand, like, why we're so invested in two people that don't do anything for fucking us anyway, and a totally different fucking country and politics and all that jazz. That's just my thought. Who gives a fucking shit? Maybe they should just fucking, like, should have just fucking do, I don't know. Who gives a shit? Whatever. However, brewing across the world in Wuhan, China, the virus we all are familiar with is, or not, because some of y'all fucking think some fucking crazy shit like this shit is fucking fake or whatever. Anyway, COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, hits all over and spreads I can't even fucking read my own writing, and spreads all over China and starts to rapidly grow, and we have no idea how this shit started. Maybe it was a bat, maybe some fucking Chinese person in fucking Wuhan ate a bat. I don't know. That's what they said at first. Like it was a fucking bat or something. I have no fucking idea. But here in the States, we didn't give a shit. We were busy enjoying the fucking Oscars, which I don't know, man. I'm partial because I really love movies, and I know there's a whole thing going on in the past couple years about whether or not the Academy is looking at black made films and films that have to do anything with black actors and writers and directors and producers and all that jazz. So typically, all these movies that have been awarded Oscars or nominated are typically white people. So yeah, like we had, what did we have? We had that movie 1917. Which was about a bunch of fucking white people, a war movie that's been, I think that hasn't been done a bunch, but over World War One. I don't think it's been done before, but we've seen war movies before. But this one in particular was kind of fucking good, because most of the film was like just taken on in like a one swoop shot. Like it did not fucking stop. They just kept fucking rolling, and they made some edits and cuts from there. You can obviously tell that there's some cuts in between some things, but it's not completely one swoop shot. It's not a fucking continuous camera shot. That deserved to be up there in the Academy Awards. And then we had this movie with Christian Bale. It was called what was the fucking movie? It was about the Ford Mustang, and not the Ford Mustang. It was just Ford getting into like some racing thing, like a fucking like long distance or like fucking whatever. I don't know. That was up for an award as well, which is another, made by a bunch of fucking white people, and acted and starred by a fucking bunch of white people. And I really do believe that that black actors and producers and writers and directors have been, kind of not really like looked at in perspective of an Academy Award, because most of the people on the board of the Academy are white, and there's not really that many people that are, and they're all old too, like I'm going all over the place with this. And you knew we were gonna, once we got into movies, that I was gonna start talking movies. But anyway, I'm kind of biased in this because I do love movies, but at the same time, if the venue was open enough for black actors and directors and writers to actually do their craft, to be brought to people, to a massive amount of people that would watch it, not just blaxploitation or just black people in general that are watching these movies that everyone can enjoy, because first of all, you have to like be able to you have to be able to appeal to everyone. So if you do a movie that is about like Star Wars, then you only appeal to those people who like fantasy and like that type of shit, like I do. So those same people, just like me, get into other fantasy shit like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, anything fantasy. I'm going to be involved with, I'm going to be invested in those things. Okay. So yeah, like make something that everyone's going to fucking like, you know what I'm saying? That it's going to appeal to everybody, like it's like music. Some people like rap, some people like rock, some people like jazz, and some people like stay in their lanes and they don't listen to a bunch of stuff. Me, I love to listen to all kinds of music. But anyway, I just rambled a little bit too much there. But, we were busy watching the Oscars. And then Trump impeached, but then acquitted. And this motherfucker, he was like, they tried to get rid of me, but they can't get rid of me. And then the virus spreads even faster, and Italy calls for a lockdown. Italy was hit very fucking hard by the coronavirus, and it started to come west more. And I was like, man, it's about to hit America and shit's about to go down. And people are like, right now it's never gonna come over here, and we this and that, and all these fucking theorist people that they always like, no, this is happening, it's fake, and it's not even going to hit here. And then, it hit New York hard by the coronavirus. And Comey over there, I think that was the mayor's name of New York, basically said, where's the ventilators? Where's this? Where's the PPE? Where's all this fucking shit? And we need it for, the people that are working in in the medical industry, in the hospitals, and wherever they're doing, they need to be protected because a drone of people are coming in and they're trying to figure out how to battle this, and scientists are working hard to try to figure out where this started, how does this virus act, how do we kill it, how do we stop it, how do we even just even put it to sleep for a little bit, we're still wondering what is going on. And this is probably around the beginning of February. It's about the beginning of February when all this shit started to go down, and people were talking about it. Yes, we were here in the States talking about it, and we were just like, man, we're about to get shut down. And people was like, they can't do that to us. That's this and that. People started going fucking nuts. They're like, they can't do that to us. I'm like, dude, if the fucking government wants to do something, they're gonna fucking do it. Okay. They're like, well, they're going to take our guns away from us. They're going to talk this shit. Shut the fuck up. It's going to fucking happen, okay? There's nothing you can do about it, and anyway, it's not going to end up 1984 up in this motherfucker. Anyway, so Trump said, don't worry about this shit. It's going to go away. It's just like the flu. It's just going to get up and go away. I heard that if you take a little bit of Clorox, you can drink it, and then it'll go away. This motherfucker is so stupid. And then by the end of March, lockdowns across the United States and countries around the world are put in place. Everyone started getting locked down, man, and I started to feel the effects that work when I was working for this company, CRDN. I mean, COVID ain't gonna stop fucking fires, and people's houses do still burn if you have electrical shortages, or your car explodes in your fucking garage, and all of your home burns down because you're not at home, or you're sleeping and it blew up and shit. The fires doesn't fucking care about COVID. They can't catch it, so it's still going to houses are still going to catch on fire. But meanwhile, the company that I worked for wasn't giving us masks. It wasn't giving us anything to protect ourselves from it. They weren't talking about social distancing. And at the beginning of all this, I was just I was one of those people that were like, I don't know. This seems a little. I was one of those. We should already be washing our hands. And then when it hit, and shit started happening. When I heard that schools were closing, in April, the schools shut down. They fucking just shut down, and they started doing a little bit of home, schooling and shit like that. And that was just a whole other, fucking weird shit to to deal with. If you had kids and you had to bring your kids back home, I saw a whole bunch of shit on fucking Facebook where man, these kids don't fucking leave. If these kids don't fucking leave, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. But, at the end of March, everything started to happen. And at the end of March, I lost my job at the place that I worked at. And you know what? It probably was for the better. You know how they say, it gets worse before it gets better, That was for me. That was 2020 for me. Shit was getting bad, it got fucking bad because then I was Ubering and I was also working at the same time, and I was making some pretty decent money, and I was saving a lot and this and that, whatever. And then douche, that shit fucking just stopped. And then I wasn't working at all. And then I was still Ubering and going out Ubering. And then all of a sudden, you could tell that COVID really took a hit on people not going anywhere, because shortly after that, they closed down restaurants to where you couldn't go and sit down at all in a restaurant. You had to do takeout. So they did only essential items that should be open, like gas stations, grocery stores, medical facilities, and places like that. Essential things that need to be open. Everything else, if you were a barber, if you were a tattoo artist, if you were anything, a massage therapist, your shit was shut down. It's not essential. You're fucking shut down. And then when that shit started happening, like a lot of my pickups were picking people up and taking them out to dinner, picking them up from dinner, picking them up from the bar, taking them home from the bar or taking them to the bar. And when all that shit shut down, that kind of ruined my livelihood. And then, we were quarantined. And a lot of my days spent going from my bed to my recliner in front of my TV, watching a whole bunch of fucking shit on TV, man. And there was a lot of shit. There was a lot of shit on TV that I was watching. Like all of us, if you haven't watched the fucking Tiger King, then what the fuck were you doing on quarantine? Because I think every single American, even little ass babies, were watching fucking Tiger King, man. Everyone was, talking about Tiger King and that bitch Carol Baskin, man. It was fucking crazy, man. Like at first, my buddy Corey called me up and he was like, dude, have you seen this show called Tiger King? And I saw it on Netflix. I saw it there and I saw like a little trailer on it. And he was like, dude, you have to watch it. And I go, dude, is it like a reality TV show? He's like, yeah, but not really. But it is, but it's not. You just need to fucking watch it. It's like a train wreck and you can't fucking turn away. You have to fucking watch. And I was just like, man, Corey really doesn't get into like shit like that. Like he's really like bougie about the shit he watches and listens to, like he's very particular about the things he watches and the shit he listens to music wise, he's very bougie about it. Anyway, so I was like, man, if Corey can muster through this, there must be some type of fucking element that is drawing his attention to watch all these fucking episodes on Netflix. So I gave it a try, and the bitch Carol Baskin, everybody on fucking Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere was talking about that bitch Carol Baskin. And then May 25th, George Floyd killed by Minneapolis police. And this is a quote by Samuel L. Jackson. Police have interesting priorities. George Floyd allegedly tried to pass one fake $20 bill in a liquor store. He had 4 cops on his ass in minutes, and they killed him. Know how long it took the same police department to arrest the prime suspects in this case? 4 days. And they had that shit on tape. Did they think that shit was counterfeit too? Man, this whole thing just sparked up the Black Lives Matter movement, protests around the country. Like these protests happen across the nation. Like I think all 48 states in the fucking lower 48 all had one city protesting. Probably not like Billingsley, Montana, because there's hardly nobody in Billingsley, and probably one black guy, which I do believe like Billingsley, their mayor is black in like a red community, a red state community, and he's black. He's probably the only black guy, and he didn't even fucking say anything about no Black Lives Matter movement, but probably 47 states out of all 50 had one of their bigger cities, or both of their cities, both of the biggest cities in their state protest. Man, it was all over the fucking place. Here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, the place where I live, and I've talked about this beautiful city a lot, and shit went down, and I was out there not the night of it was like May 28th, I believe. It was like when all this, like 28th, 29th, or 30th, when the protest started to happen, like down here. It took like 4 days, like after the days after they didn't arrest them, they fired these police officers. And that's when they only got fired. They didn't get arrested. They didn't get put in jail or anything for just sitting by and watching, a police officer put his knee on a guy's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, I believe. And listen to George Floyd say, I can't breathe over a fucking a counterfeit $20 bill. Now don't get me wrong. Is having or being involved in mischief like that in counterfeit bills, is that good? No, it's not. Does it mean that you need to die for it? Does it mean that needs to happen? No. And a lot of people turn their head to the situation and we're like, well, this and that, and that's not right. And blah, blah, blah. But I understand that two rights don't make a wrong. But if you have someone who keeps on poking at you and poking at you and poking at you and poking at you and poking at you, or, threatening you, or, bullying you every day, one day, something's gonna fucking snap. And this is what it was. People done fucking had it. Black people across the country done fucking had it. Y'all been doing this to us for how many fucking years, and you still fucking do it, and everyone turns a fucking shoulder to it, turns a cheek to the whole fucking shit. So guess what? We're gonna fucking let the nation know that we're under distress, and this shit needs to be fucking, this is what we need to do. It's our right to fucking protest. It's our right to do these things. And did it go a little overboard? Yes. But guess what? Martin Luther King Jr. was a very peaceful man. He was a very peaceful person, and he protested peace. He wanted peace. He wanted protests to be peace. He even went to Malcolm X, who was a very radical Black Panther as well. And they armed themselves, and they took on violence, and they blew things up, and they did all that shit too. They were the radical part of the movement back in the early 60s. And he pleaded to Malcolm X to be peaceful in his protests. And what happened to both of those gentlemen? Malcolm X did go peaceful. He was shot and killed. Fucking Martin Luther King had always been peaceful and was shot and killed. So what's the fucking difference? If we can't voice our opinions in just words and peace, and everyone just turns a cheek, it is what it is. All right, enough of that. So then protests around the country happen. And then with this whole shit going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and all this shit, Karens and Kyles all over the place start calling the fucking police for no fucking reason. And there's a guy walking around in the park, and he's looking at me. He's threatening me. I'm going to call the police. I mean, this shit really happened. That scenario I just said, I didn't make that up. A woman actually fucking called the New York police because a man was jogging in the park, in the famous park. I forgot what the fucking park's name. I'm drawing a blank right now. He was jogging and just kind of looked at the lady, and the lady fucking called the cops on him and said that he was threatening her and doing. He's like, I'm not threatening you. And he fucking recorded that shit, and they blasted her on the fucking news. And then she lost her job, and then shit started happening like that. Kyles and Karens all over the fucking place were losing their jobs for doing stupid shit. Because on top of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, y'all motherfuckers are out here fucking calling the police for no fucking reason. It was fucking disgusting. So staying on the whole matter with the Black Lives Matter movement, statues all over the country are brought down. Now here in Fort Wayne, man, it was a little different. Like I was telling you around, what was it? Was it June? No, it was May. It was May like 28th, 29th, around there. There was a huge huge, like there was rioting going on, a bunch of glass on it, and glass from buildings and different businesses and buildings downtown Fort Wayne were being smashed by bricks. And Fort Wayne downtown took a fucking hit. And that night that it happened, or the day before all that shit happened, police had like a smoke bomb or tear gas bomb or something that went out in the crowds, and it hit this guy. I believe his name is Balin, Brian Balin or something like that. It starts with a B, but he got directly hit in the eye, in the face with one of them, and lost his fucking eye. Had to go to the hospital and completely lost his fucking eye. And the police officers denied that they shot it directly into the crowd, like as they were pointing a gun at someone to kill them or shoot an individual. They said, no, it bounced and hit him. There's no way that one of those projectiles will hit with that type of force and bounce up and hit somebody at that type of force to make someone lose their eyeball. And that shit went fucking global. It was all over the place that this shit happened. And then Fort Wayne went on the map with it. But nonetheless, like the police awareness and the police, like, it was heavy downtown. So anytime you went downtown to protest, I went down there a few times to take pictures and kind of, capture, history. Because it was history. So I just wanted to capture history. And maybe one day some of my pictures would be used for, I don't think, it was just right when I started, started to take pictures and whatnot. And I was still learning. So some of them came out all right and some of them didn't. But nonetheless, shit happened here in Fort Wayne. And it got real. It got real. It just, fucking plywood all over fucking buildings, and it was crazy, man. It was like something out of a fucking like movie. But nonetheless, that shit was happening. And then all of a sudden, people started talking about white privilege, and people going nuts over that as well. Like, you have white privilege and this and that, and you should be thankful for your white privilege and this and that. And like, it kind of got out of hand. But I do understand white privilege, and I don't understand white privilege at the same time. But I am all for people understanding. And if you go out and try to understand another race or another culture, and you try your best to understand it, then, go by your way and try to figure out, and what is different from you, because that's how you see the world. Go out and enjoy something that you normally wouldn't do. Talk to someone who isn't of your race. Make friends with someone who isn't of your race. Make friends with someone that's older than you. Make friends with someone that's younger than you, because this is how you see the world. And a lot of people just kind of really stay in their bubble, and that really doesn't culture you enough to understand like the whole glimpse of things. Like there was this guy at work, and I'm kind of going off a tangent because I have like 13 other points I want to make. But there's this guy at work. He's from Myanmar, which is Burma. Thailand. And he had like a really hard time understanding the job, like packing, when I was still packing. And I saw that he was struggling. And I was just like, hey man, do it this way, and how about this? And it'd be easier for you if you do it like this. He's like, oh, thank you. And he always, like, I know that was kind of racist, me like changing my voice that way. And this is like, whatever. Anyway, he really took kind to me. He really took to me. He every day he would make sure, like, Juan, where you going? I'm going to be right next to you. Because I would always help him out. And if he had issues with like trying to read something or write something down, if he had an issue like on one of the exception sheets, I would write it down for him, because he doesn't know how to like write in our language. So I would help him out because he needs help. Write this down, do it like this. And after a couple times, you know, he saw the way I would write it, and then he would just like, he would like mimic it and then he would end up doing it himself. But for the most part, he would ask me a lot to like write it down for him. And I didn't care because like, you never know what people are going through. So just try to help as much as possible. And, you know, I don't know. It made him understand like that I cared, and we became friends because of it. We ain't hanging out and shit and going to the bar or anything, but you know, I definitely look out for him, and he definitely looks out for me. Anyway, what happened next? A vaccine for the virus is started, and this is in June. People are getting, what did I write here? People are getting used to being, people are getting used to, you know, being locked down now, and people are like kind of in like their own little, you know, routine of things of what they do. They're saying, you know, don't be in like large groups, don't go out unless you absolutely have to. And then where I live like really close to a freeway, and like there's no wall or anything that you don't hear the noise from the cars from the freeway. Like let's do a little silence and see if we can hear them. Yeah, you heard that? That's the freeway. So during quarantine, when all this was happening, when, you know, there wasn't that many people on the roads because no one was going to work, no one was traveling, no one was going anywhere unless you had to go out to go get groceries or, you know, check on loved ones or any of that jazz. You didn't go anywhere. They said they preferred that you didn't go anywhere unless you need to get essential items or do things for, you know, your loved ones, your elderly young. How's that? Whatever, an oxymoron. So the freeway behind the house, like, was silent, and like, It was nice because it was quiet. But you definitely, like, later on when when they started lifting the ban, and not the ban, but like, you know, people being quarantined and people started like going out, and they opened up restaurants to a capacity, and, you know, they slowly started opening, trying to get back to full capacity. You started hearing the freeway get louder as it went. But there was a point in time where like almost the whole world like stopped, even though the world was still like spinning on its axis and revolving around the sun. Like the world, like as one, just like stopped. And they said for a week, for doing that for 2 weeks, like emission levels dropped. Like the smog in LA went away because there wasn't that many people driving all over the place, and just like pollution in general just dropped, and like the earth could actually fucking breathe. And maybe, you know, once in a while we should have these little quarantines where like the whole world just fucking stops for maybe a month, and so the world can actually breathe. And, you know, Greta Thunberg got her fucking wish. She got her wish that you know, emission levels would drop, and maybe she kind of, you know, brought on the coronavirus to the world to bring emissions lower. But regardless, the fact we out there polluting the world again every day by, you know, driving cars and semis everywhere that you have diesel fuel and all this jazz. But anyway, so a lot of people were watching a lot of stuff on TV and Netflix, and again, Tiger King, that bitch Carol Baskin. TikTok got really fucking popular, and everyone was doing TikTok, and I told myself I wasn't going to get involved in that shit. Guess what? When you ain't got shit to do and you watched almost all of Netflix, like, or the shit that you want to watch, like, seriously, I think I watched all of Netflix, and there wasn't anything new on Netflix or anything that I wanted to fucking watch, and man, I fucking broke down and got a TikTok. Started doing TikTok videos, and TikTok almost got banned here in the United States because kids messed with Trump's campaign, and they didn't buy, they just went and like kind of like promoted the fact that you should go to Trump's website and reserve as many seats as possible, so there wouldn't be any seats left for his campaign. And it was hilarious. So he got fucking pissed about that and tried to fucking ban TikTok. Long story short, it didn't get banned. Joe Biden announces that Kamala Harris will be his vice president, and she would be is the first African American / of Asian descent for woman vice president. Fucking there's first for everything, you know. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died at the age of 87, and on September 18th, and her dying wish was that she wouldn't be replaced on the Supreme Court till the next president was sworn in, and that wish died with her. Because on the 26th of September, not too shortly after she died, Trump announced Coney Barrett's nomination. Also in the 28th, the first president debate, and oh my God, this shit was horrible to watch. It was actually hilarious to watch as well. It wasn't horrible like for the country. It was horrible because the whole world treated that day like a fucking like reality TV show, watching two fucking old farts go at it with each other. And I sat here and I watched the whole fucking thing live, and I was screaming at the TV because fucking Trump kept on interrupting Joe Biden as he was trying to talk when it wasn't even his fucking turn. Like, you know, even said right at the beginning, it's like, you know, please, let me finish the question. The question, and then you have 2 minutes to respond. And when you have your 2 minutes, only that person, the president that's, you know, going to run for president shouldn't say anything, and they both couldn't keep their fucking mouth shut. But it was mostly Trump's doing, and he just couldn't fucking keep his mouth shut. Let's run through this some more. Anyway, and it was quoted to be a train wreck and a shit show and a dumpster fire. Shit was fucking crazy. And then on October 2nd, we all knew this was going to happen because this motherfucker wouldn't wear any PPE at all. Right at the latter end of it, he started doing it. But Trump tests positive for COVID-19. Like, we all were fucking like, yes, this motherfucker got it. And he was all pissed off about it and wouldn't go to the hospital. And then he ended up in the hospital, and then whatever. Anyway, October 14th, Hunter Biden's email with Ukraine dropped, and this whole thing. What about Hunter Biden? Oh my gosh, that shit. I really don't get into politics, but that shit was getting annoying. Then November 3rd, election days, the ups and downs of the president election, and then the president actually, President Trump, demands the stop of counting. He goes, "We basically won this election. They need to stop the counting." Well, if you know anything about the election, Democrats were really pushing forward for mail-in ballots, and Republicans really weren't about that whole thing because they were just like, coronavirus is bullshit and we should be able to do what we want and we're going to go out there and vote. So they wanted to go in person and vote. They said, well, you can't hold down this, they're going to be colluding and all this, whatever. Anyway, so all the ballots that were mailed in were counted last, and all of the ballots that were done in person were counted first. So initially, yes, all the red states were going to be counted, and it's going to look like Trump had a huge lead. But all these Democrat states or cities that are heavily, like Houston, is it Houston? I think it's no, it's not Houston. Houston. Austin, they call, what do they call? They call it a blue dot in a red sea or something like that, because Texas is a red state, but Austin is very Democrat, very left, very liberal. So that's where a lot of music and art takes place in that city. So it is going to be very liberal when you have a lot of artists, musicians and painters and shit like that. You're going to have more of a Democrat feel to it, a more liberal feel, just like how Fort Wayne, Indiana is a blue city in a red state. Anyway, so basically my theory is this. So my theory is like, when the whole shutdown happened, it was like we were at like level whatever it was where you couldn't even go to a fucking restaurant. It's like 4.5. And there was only a certain amount of like people that could sit in the restaurants, and you couldn't sit at the bar. And then they opened it up to full capacity around the same time the election started. So like all early elections happened, so there wouldn't be like long lines, and they started doing this years ago, just to kind of help with, long lines and people like just commuting and, for it to be more faster, speedy thing. So they just had, early elections where you can go to different hubs and go vote early. So they started doing that. So here in Indiana, we opened up, which we are a red state, they opened up fully around the same time that you can go in and, vote. So you can go and sit down at a bar now. You can have, as many people as you wanted, in a bar, and there was no restrictions and everything, because they wanted their Republicans to go out and vote, because they were not going to mail in. They wanted to go in and physically vote. So that's my theory. And as soon as the election was over, 4.5, we went right back to where we were, where you couldn't sit at a bar, and you had restrictions on how many people could be in the restaurant. That's my theory. That's a pretty fucking good one. It's a pretty fucking good one if you ask me, because it kind of, if you do the research more, I think it lines up exactly with what I said. I think so. But anyway, so the up and downs, and so yeah, so that's my theory, and that's what I'm sticking with. And, so Democrat states that had a lot of mail-in voting were counted last. So it made it look like that Trump was winning. And then when they started counting all the mail-in ballots, it's like, oh, they're adding people that were dead and this person with a shut the fuck up. Anyway, November 7th comes around, and Joe Biden is announced as the 46th president of the United States. And the world started to heal. And for weeks, we didn't hear one drop from Trump at all. And we did for like weeks, because Trump is denying and calls for lawsuits to go to the Supreme Court and refuses to concede. And this guy just wouldn't fucking give up. He wouldn't fucking give up. And then when he gives up, they basically, Joe Biden's like, I'm the president now. And a lot of people were fucking like, in the streets, like fucking cheering and fucking having a fucking good old time, Anyway. And then people go nuts over this vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine. Like, I'm not going to put something in my body that I don't know what's in it. Really, motherfucker? This is probably the same people who eat fried food, drink a bunch of alcohol, don't eat clean or eat at all, like any good things at all, like microwaved shit all the fucking time, all processed foods and all this shit, nothing like a real fucking cooked meal, everything's all processed and shit. But they ain't worried about that. But they worried about a fucking vaccine, because they're trying to control us. They're going to put little chips in our bodies. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever. So that shit happened, and still going on right as of now. And then on December 15th, the first COVID-19 vaccine was given to a nurse named Sandra Lindsay. And in all of this, man, we learned about ourselves. We learned how much we can handle. We learned how to, you know, be quarantined and isolated from other people. I even got the fucking COVID, man, in August. At the beginning of August, I got the fucking vid. I got the vid. And I was in the hospital about 5 days and came home and had a quarantine for another fucking 10 days and kept my door shut, and, you know, just, it was horrible. And you guys know this. You guys know it. If you want to, you know, listen more about what happened and how the effects of COVID hit me, it's in one of my podcasts. I don't remember which. Just scroll and find it and listen to it, because I talk about it the whole entire freaking episode, I believe. Anyway, we learn more about ourselves, what we can handle, what we can't handle. And then if something like this would ever to happen again, we know we can go through it. We know what to do. We know what streaming services to watch. And hopefully, you know, theaters will come back and thrive once again in 2021. And we can go do a concert, and maybe we can put this whole COVID shit behind us. But nonetheless, we did lose a lot of people in 2020. And these are just some people that inspired me who passed away. And I'm going to go month to month, the people who passed away. There were a lot of people, actually. And if there were some people that passed away, who were like, well, Juan, you forgot about such and such. I'm just talking about people who inspired me. People, like, we're talking about actors, writers, directors, musicians, you know, those people that inspired me, that kind of makes who I like, you know, just, you know, generally what I like. Anyway, so in January, we lost Kobe. That fucking hit hard. Kobe really fucking hit hard. Even though I wasn't a Laker fan, it fucking hit hard, man, because he went through some ups and downs himself, and with his family and with his whole, like, marriage and cheating, and he was on the front forward, you know, he was on Front Street about it and all this jazz. But he was a really good dude, man. Like, I didn't personally know the guy, but if you want to, you know, you want to hear my reactions to Kobe dying, it's on one of my other podcasts too, right? Anyway, and then we lost Rush drummer Neil Peart. We lost the god of drumming. And apparently, like, he had been sick for years, and he just kept it secret from everybody, except a few people. And it was his wish for people not to know that he was, like, seriously sick. And Rush was still going out there and playing. And maybe a few years ago, I think it was a year before Neil Peart died, Rush decided that they were done playing. And I think a lot of it had to do with, and I think I know that Rush, I think Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee both said that it was because Neil was very sick, and he just couldn't see himself continue to do it anymore. And man, if you want to read a book about a man who went through a lot of shit, man, like, in his life, read Neil Peart's Ghostwriter. Man, fucking such an inspiring fucking book, because the guy goes through so much and loses so much and continues to move on with his life, man. A very, very heartwarming, touching, sad, and uplifting all at the same time book. Give it a read. February, music maker Tom Watkins, may he rest in peace. March, Kenny Rogers, we lost Lady. Then we lost Bill Withers. Fuck, man. Long the day, lovely day. We lost fucking Bill Withers, man. And then in March. And then April, jazz saxophonist Lee Konzit. Man, bruh, this guy could fucking blow. May, Little Richard. I feel good. We lost Little Richard. Comedian and actor Jerry Stiller. Man, Jerry Stiller. That was in May. And in June, director Joel Shoemaker. I didn't know this. I didn't know that Joel Shoemaker fucking passed away, man. I love some of his other movies, but I really didn't care for him, what he did with fucking Batman. He put fucking nipples on the bat suit. Man, fuck that shit. Anyway, July, country singer Charlie Daniels. Yeah. Grant Amahara from Mythbusters, man, that hit hard. And then John Lewis, a long-time civil rights activist, and probably was involved with the Black Lives Matter movement. If he was still around, I forget, like when in July, yeah, he would have been around the time for the Black Lives Matter movement. So when he passed, it was like, it hit hard for a lot of people, and he's just inspiring, as an individual, a person of his stature in politics, as a black man in politics. He did a lot of things, man, and so rest in peace. And then in August, man, Chadwick Boseman died on my fucking birthday, man, August 28th. I remember sitting here, my brother and my niece, my brother got some pizzas and some beer, and we watched some movies, and I forget what movie we watched, but I think we watched Back to the Future, actually. But like, since I've seen Back to the Future like 1,000 times, I was like scrolling through my phone, and I was like, pause it. Chadwick Boseman just died. My brother's like, what? And then, hold on, boom, went to Google, and it, bam, came up, man. Like, this dude was suffering from cancer, and no one fucking knew about it. Like, he kept it secret. And then if you start to see, like, late movies, like recent movies that it was in, he looked like he was fucking dying. Like, he was getting skinnier, But, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist Jack Sherman, I should say. Sorry, we lost him. They were one of the original guitarists for Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then in September, Kool and the Gang founder Ronald Bell passed away. In October, Sir Sean Connery, the first Bond, died. Eddie Van Halen. I remember when I heard that Eddie Van Halen died, I was at work at my new job in October, and saw that he fucking passed away. And then I work at Sweetwater, and Sweetwater's all about music, and they played a playlist for about maybe a good half hour, 45 minutes. They played a bunch of Van Halen songs, and it was pretty cool. November, we lost Alex Trebek, and Jeopardy is never going to be the same without Alex Trebek. That mustache that he had back in the 70s, and kept it for so long, and then he shocked the world when he shaved that motherfucker off. And then in December, fucking 2020 goes out fucking swinging. Two people that inspired me. One, watching Breakin' and Breakin' 2 was Shabba-Doo, a.k.a. Ozone, man, from Breakin' 1 and Breakin' 2. This guy was very involved in the breakdance community in LA, and had his own studio, and was really about, like, it is an art form. It is dance, and it's an interpretive dance. It's a really cool, dance, and it died, and it came back just recently, within the past 10 years. It came back, and Shabba-Doo was at the forefront of it all, because he was like one of them old school break dancers, man. Like, I don't know what Turbo's real name is, but if you watch Breakin', you know who Turbo is. I wonder how Turbo's doing about this whole situation. And then on December 31st, 2020 goes out swinging, man. Like, I'm gonna take one more person. He takes out rapper MF Doom, the lyricist of all lyricists, the English rapper MF Doom. Man, nonetheless, this year was fucking crazy. And, last night, hung out with some friends, and met some new ones, hung out with some old friends. So, kind of been, enjoying watching two of my, one of my really good friends that I've known for a long time, grow into the individual that he is now. And he's also inspiring, and see that he, brought life into this world. He's got a child, and him and his girlfriend at the moment and they look amazing together. They are very loving and caring, and you can tell they're going to be great fucking parents, because they are two great individuals, and they're great to other people. They're always there to talk to lean a shoulder on, or just everything, man. Just great fucking people, man. Thank you so much to Brendan Smith and Naomi for, being really good friends to me and always having my back. Thank you guys, if you're listening. But yeah, it was a crazy ass fucking year. And, this year I'm going to vow to myself that I'm going to try my hardest to be more involved in my family, in my close friends, and try to be more involved and be more vocal about things, and understand that all things cannot be talked about. I'm just gonna have to pick and choose my battles, basically. So yeah, we're starting 2021 on a different note. I hope that, things in 2021 turn out a lot better than they have for us in 2020. A lot of people said that this year, that 2020 went by kind of slow, and it did when we were in quarantine. Like, some days I forgot what fucking day it was, like what day it is. I had to look at my phone and be like, oh, it's fucking Friday. Oh, it's Thursday. Oh, it's this day. Like, I would forget like what day it was. But for the most part, man, I think it kind of went by quick. It really did. Kind of went by quick. I think right when I got the job at Sweetwater, I started getting a routine of, getting to work. And I tell you what, man, the first couple days of going to work, man, was like, oh shit. And then when I was in training, I had to wake up at like fucking 5 a.m. in the morning just to get to work, because they wanted us to train on first shift, which I fucking had no idea why we needed to, because they really didn't train us at all. They were just like, put that in the box, put that in the box. They really didn't like go over shit. It was just like, all right, see this, read it. All right, do this, do that. You can start boxing some shit. All right, now you can go to your own shift. Like, what? I don't know. They're trying. They needed a lot of people, and I think, for what they had, and like with COVID restrictions and all that, they did a really good job of like, hiring people. The process was a little weird, but anyway, they did what they could with, the restrictions and whatnot. But that is all the time that I have here on Brews and Views. I hope you guys have a good one, and take 2021 on the next level. Do something different. Get a hobby. Read a book. I got 4 books, and this year I want to read. I'm not trying to get crazy about it, because I know I'm a slow reader. So I'm going to say that I want to read 20 books this year. Let's see what happens next year on January 1st. All right, guys. Peace. I'm gonna get the money.
Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble at lengths about things I have no business talking about. Download Brews and Views to your favorite devices at Apple Podcast and Spotify. This is Juan Cordero, the one and only, saying cheers. Until next time.